guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a brand new world champion. That's right, last season just finished. In fact, I will be opening my own champion draft chest at the end of today's video. But for right now, we're going to be focusing on the GOAT, the greatest of all time, GuaNek's. At least if you look at the season tallies, the season results from the last year plus of Clash Royale history, GuaNek's is now the only player to finish #1 in the world at the end of the season 3 times ever. This is crazy. I want to say Pompeo has done it twice. I think that's the only other player who's done it twice. Maybe C. McHugh as well. Either way, we know that GuaNek's is the only one to have 3 #1 finishes under his belt. So let's go ahead and take a look at the deck that he did it with this time. So the first 2 times he did it was with Hog Freeze. You guys probably think of GuaNek's name and you think of synonymous with Hog Freeze because he loved Hog Freeze, but he shifted away from the Hog meta, and you can see today we're going to have a lot of fun going over the replays that got him at the end of the season last night to #1 in the world. So a lot of good players this season, especially in the mix. A lot of pro players finally getting those fully maxed out accounts that you really need to compete at the top of ladder. Now you guys understand, before some of you critics in the comments say these aren't really the best players in the world, they just have max level cards, remember 2 things. Thing number 1 is, well, everybody has max cards at the top of ladder. Thing number 2 is that these guys are not people who maxed out their accounts. They've been given sponsored accounts because they're that good at the game. They've made a name for themselves by winning a bunch of big tournaments, getting that name recognition, and then eventually applying and trying out for a sponsored account. So anyway, back to the GuaNek's gameplay here. You can see the deck that he's using. No pump in this deck, however, it is an extremely powerful beatdown deck right now in the game, featuring, of course, the push that you're seeing right now in the right lane. It's the Giant and the Night Witch, and the Giant Night Witch for a 9 elixir push can be one of the most powerful and devastating in the entire game right now. Now, this is a beatdown deck, of course, but it's also a beatdown deck where you're going to want to push the opposite lane if you're going against a deck that's heavier than yours. Essentially a Lava Hound deck, a Lava Loon deck, a Lava Ram deck, as you're seeing in this replay right here against Detective Heka, aka I am Bren Chong, or against a Golem deck. You're definitely going to want to punish the other lane using a Giant Night Witch right at the bridge there. And check this out, we are going to go for the 3 crown against Detective Heka. And remember this, guys, this is important. This is still a beatdown deck, so you're going to be playing it with the beatdown rules in your head. What does that mean? It means that your tower's hit points are a resource to be used by you. You can't over defend with this deck. It's a rather aggressive deck. You want to keep the pressure up and don't be afraid, as you just saw there in that replay, to lose a tower. So now we're going in for the 3 crown here. We're using the miner at the last second there, going in hopefully to tank for some of those bats or skeletons, but of course the bats were already dead. Skeletons? What skeletons? They were only on defense. Ash, wake up, dude. So it is the morning, by the way, guys. It is the morning, but you can see either way a 3 crown victory, and that is not rare with this deck, ladies and gentlemen. It is a really powerful deck. So he asks if this is enough replays. I think it's perfect, so let's let him know that it's perfect and then we'll get to the next replay, guys. By the way, if you aren't lucky enough to have unlocked the Night Witch just yet, hopefully, I hope you do. I hope she either appears in your shop or comes out of your next chest that you open. I'm sending you all the Ash good luck. Oops, as I kick my mic down the street. I'm sending you all the Ash good luck that I could possibly can here. But if you don't have her yet and you're in a mid-level or earlier level arena, you can sub in the regular witch. If you're in a higher level arena, when you want to try this deck, you can sub in either Ewiz or Executioner if you don't have Ewiz. So those would be the substitutes for the Night Witch in this deck. Of course, you can even use Minion Horde if you want to, having that obvious synergy with the Miner in the Minion Horde from defense to offense. But you can see here, essentially, you just have 2 tanks in this deck. If your Giant dies on your way to a big push here. By the way, you know what? Shut up, Ash. Let's watch this replay here. Check this out. Check out this right lane push. GuaNek's knows he doesn't have a perfect answer to that hog push with the Executioner in the left. We're going against a Executioner Tornado Lightning deck. Usually you would think that might be a big issue for us because they have a lot of good counters to our Night Witch. But look at how well GuaNek's is able to quickly 3-crown his opponent here, just at this point spamming things in that, other side of the arena next to the pocket area, going for that 3-crown. But the thing is here, he saw the opponent use the opponent Moose use that very early Executioner in the left lane, so he thought, hey, I'm just gonna drop my Night Witch in the right lane and see what my opponent does. Once he saw that the opponent went all in on that hog push in the left, he decided to use his tower's hit points as a resource and go all in for the 3-crown on the right, and that's exactly what happened there. That was a fast 3-crown match there, guys. And remember, this is the very tippity top of ladder at the end of the season. So feasibly, these are the best players in the world playing the best decks in the world at the end of the season here. So now let's go against Splash Yard. Another difficult matchup for any deck, really. Splash Yard, one of the strongest decks in the game right now, and we'll see how GuaNek's handles it. So starting off here, not an obvious play. He wants to see what the opponent's going to do first, and he does just that. Once he sees the solo E-Wiz coming in, he probably already knows. These pros, they know what everybody plays, especially with the rivalry between Nove and 50 Kings. You know that they've scouted out the other players. So as soon as he sees this guy, he probably already knows he's playing Splash Yard, and he probably already knows GuaNek's is playing either Hog Freeze, but he's shifted away from that, or this deck, which he loves so much right now. So here it comes. GuaNek's, by the way, guys, he also holds the records for the most cups ever attained in the history of Clash Royale. So not only is he the only 3-time Clash Royale champion, but he's also the highest cups in the world as of right now, at least. So pretty good defense by both players here. GuaNek's off to a little tiny deficit early on this match, something that's new compared to the first replays that we watched today. And we're going to get things started with a nice push here. Again, using that Miner, you can use the Miner very strategically in this deck. Obviously, you can use it as a secondary tank or a last-second tank for when your Giant dies. That's what I started to say earlier. You can send in that Miner to provide extra tankage for those bats. So essentially, let's pretend you have a Giant and a Night Witch going down the lane. Once the Giant dies, the Night Witch is probably going to be targeted and die, but guess what? You can send in that Miner to tank for all those bats that she's spawned. So it's a very nice synergy there between the Miner and the Giant Night Witch push. So you can essentially use it for late reinforcements, but it's also very important to use the Miner as a distraction. You want to make sure that you're facing the opponent's splash damage in the opposite direction. You can even use it to tank on a Musketeer, for example. But more importantly, again, face that bowler in the opposite direction with the Miner. Face that baby dragon in the opposite direction, keeping your Night Witch safe, and face, of course, the Executioner in the opposite direction. So now, again, we're in a slight deficit here as far as tower HP goes. You can see Tornado being used here, baby dragon doing good work defensively, and we take some damage here. We take some damage, but we're about to get a monster push on the left here. Poison doing a pretty good job killing both the Night Witch and her bats, but we are finally going to get that Giant to the tower. We're also going to send in that Miner. Miner doing a lot of chip damage from the south of that Crown Tower. Giant hammering away at the north of the Crown Tower, and it gets the job done despite the poison taking out the Night Witch and her bats. So a rare non-3 crown by the GOAT, the champ, the GuaNek's. And let's go ahead and play. This one is another Splash Yard, and it's another 3 crown. So I'm not going to show you another Splash Yard. I really want to show you this 3 Musketeer replay here because I love Three Musketeer decks, and we're going to see how GuaNek handles it here. So right off the bat here, you can see starting out, it's a Three Musketeer Ram deck with the Minion Horde. I was going to say Mega Minion, with the Minion Horde and the Minor version, I believe. I watched this once before the replay, before I started recording, but I forgot. But I think with the Minion Horde, it's very rare to play the Knight version, but however, I could be wrong. So no obvious starting play here for GuaNek's opponent, Saburi. Anyway, he's going to go ahead and be pretty much forced to just keep playing passively here, playing the minions to counter the Night Witch, but there's a bad rotation for the opponent here. Finally gets to the Miner. He has Elixir Pump ready to play, but he's not going to want to have, play certainly Elixir Pump right now. And look at this, Lightning was ready there for GuaNek, taking down the Three Musketeers, and man, that is just a devastating combo. There's nothing he can do at this point to save that left tower, even with the Goblin Gang there at the last second. GuaNek able to use that zap spell, so basically really leaning heavily on the lightning for the Three Musketeers and then the zap for the Goblin Gang, having an answer for both of the counters really early on there helped out GuaNek, and he comes off with a nice early lead in this match. However, the opponent is going to make an interesting shot at a comeback here, so stay tuned to see how he or she does it. So here comes Miner. Obviously, you're going to want to use Miner on the opponent's pumps. That's not rocket science. And then we're going to play a Goblin Gang here. So a Goblin Gang, on the pocket offensively, comboed with the bats from the Night Witch. And we're going to take a 2-tower to nothing lead. And check this out, guys. There hasn't been 1 HP off of either of those towers at the top there for GuaNek. But this is going to be a very lucrative push here for the opponent. He's going to be able to take down this left tower using the Ram Goblin Gang Miner combo. So now things are a little bit more interesting. Now watch this here. The opponent, Saburi, goes ahead and splits the Three Musketeers, baiting out that lightning on the right side by GuaNek. So now the opponent, you already know where his head's at. I do. GuaNek, if I do, then GuaNek does too, right? So basically, he's going to go all out for a 3-crown here. And watch how he does it. He actually does a pretty good job, but look at this defense here by GuaNek as well. He goes ahead and takes down the Ram with the Zap and Goblin Gang, but look at this. Sends in the Miner, the opponent does, at just the right second there to allow some tankage for those, 20% HP minions that were left over from that Minion Horde. But on the other end of the arena, you can see just doing what he does, sending in that Miner at the last second again. Night Witch, Giant, there's nothing the opponent can do here. It's another 3-crown for GuaNek. So congratulations to GuaNek for doing it again, repping Nove eSports, coming in first place overall for the 3rd time in a row. He is the ultimate of the ultimate champions. But guys, I pre-recorded me opening up my draft chest. I want to know if you guys would have made the same decisions that I did with my champion draft chest from last season. So here it is. I finished 1509 in the world last season. Certainly nothing to brag about. However, I was pretty happy with the finish considering I didn't play this weekend on ladder except for 1 or 2 matches, mostly just clan chests. I still love 2v2. I do think the next update is going to have a new game mode for 2v2. But anyway, I get to these cards here. I already have these rares maxed out, so I'm just choosing the option with the most gold right now, so nothing hard to choose, but I do get, boom, some legendary options here, and I'm gonna go with the Princess. She is close to max. It will be my first max legendary card if I do indeed max her out sometime soon, so I'm really happy about my 18th Princess there on my road to max Princess. And the 40 Executioners, especially in today's meta, I'll take it. Do you guys agree or disagree with my chest decisions, my draft decisions there? I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Again, huge special shout out to GuaNek for sharing his replays from last season with me. Some of these pro players are very secretive about their decks, so it does say a lot that the pro is willing to put themselves out there and share their tips and feasibly how to counter their deck as well out there to the world or to CWA's small audience. Either way you look at it, it means a lot to me. So huge shout out to my YouTube partner, Bren Chong. Huge shout out to all you guys for continuing to watch and support the channel. Thank you so much. And as always, take care, guys.